Now this, it's a very, very nice engraving. I am so pleased with it, and it's one of the best engravings I have seen on a diode laser. Hey you guys, I'm so excited. Today I'm going to review for you the latest laser from AtomStack. This is AtomStack Kraft. This is a 2-in-1 laser. It's a 20-watt diode laser and a 1.2-watt infrared laser. It does have a 5-megapixel camera and it has so many features. This laser, it's amazing. We're gonna take a good look at it and we'll review it right now. Now, I really thought for a long time, I wasn't sure how I was going to format this video. This is going to be a long video. It's going to be a very in-depth video. And most videos that you watch a review, you start with the unboxing so you can see how to put the laser together, what's in the box, and so on. Well, I'm gonna do my video different. I'm gonna put the unboxing in the end because if you're like me, you find those unboxing videos a little bit boring. So, but in case you still want to see it, I will put it in the end of the video. So the way I will be formatting this video, we will take a look at some test materials that I did with this laser. Then I'm going to show you what kind of work I do and what do I use the laser for, so you can see the potential of stuff you can do with the laser. I will show you some projects, and then we will actually plug in the machine and we'll do a live demonstration, even though it's not live, it's recorded. But we'll do it together. I will do some engraving. I will show you how to focus, how the machine works, how to change from diode laser to infrared laser. So I will show you everything you need to know about this laser. And then after I will show you all of that, then if you still want to watch the unboxing, you can do so. I will have it in the end. Now, if you do decide to purchase this laser, please consider using my affiliate link that is in the description below of the video. It is an affiliate link. That means to no extra cost to you. I will be earning a small commission. And also I have a discount code. I'll put that in the description as well. That will allow you to get 5% off. So once I put the machine together, my first project was just engraving my logo in one of those wooden keychain. And as you can see, the engraving is fantastic. It is very sharp. It is dark. Not a lot of charring, super, super nice engraving. So that was my first engraving that I've done with the machine, and I was very, very pleased with it. I thought it did a fantastic job. Now, the second engraving I did, I had this little Valentine scene, and I forgot to refocus the laser. So I want to show it to you, even though I probably shouldn't show you this, but I will show you what the difference is when you forget to focus. So as you can see, this is what I engraved prior to this one, and I forgot to reset the focus. So the engraving, it's dark, but it's lacking detail. It's kind of blurry, fuzzy. So that's what you get when you forget to focus. So make sure you focus for each material every single time. Once I realized that my laser was out of focus, I did re-engrave the same scene. As you can see, a lot more detail in there. And I was happy with that. It's not the best file for engraving. I just purchased it from Etsy. But there's the difference between focused and not focused machine. So let me show you this side by side. This is what you get. Now, once I saw that this laser can engrave very, very nicely, I thought I would do some more advanced engraving, and let's do one of this. I call them a 3D illusion. It's not really a 3D engraving, but it looks like 3D. And this is a file that I have used many times with all kinds of lasers, and not all the lasers perform great with this file. This laser, it seems to do an excellent, excellent job. It really makes those tulips pop. It looks like they're 3D, even though they're not. On the back, you can see I forgot to focus again, so it was completely out of focus, but then refocused, and there you go. Very, very nice engraving. Now imagine this engraved really large, make it into a wall art, or just a small like that. It could be on a box lid. Actually, I had a few box lids like this on boxes, but I already sold it, so I can't show you. I did it on a red cedar, so they were all pink. So that's another engraving that I have done. Now, when you see laser reviews, you will see all kinds of people that are using lasers for all kinds of projects, and every single one of them, they have like a niche. Some of them have an engraving business, some of them make signs. You know, everybody uses the laser in different ways. I would say my niche would be inlays. That's what I use the laser for. So I did an inlay test. I did this little kitty cat. Very simple inlay, and just, you know, a little test to see how it will perform when you do an inlay. To make an inlay like this, the way you will do it, you will first engrave the pocket, which is just normal engraving of your design at a higher power, so it creates a deep engrave. And then in the same file, you cut it, so you put your light burn into line mode, and you cut it, but make sure you add your curve offset, which for this laser, it's 0.06, and you cut it, and then your pieces should fit perfectly in there and give you a nice inlay. Now, because that inlay worked out so well, and this is my favorite thing to do with the laser, I made another one here on a larger piece of wood. This flower design, this is walnut and maple. And this one, actually, I will cut it into a lid, and this will become the lid of a box. Super, super cute inlay. I really like it, and it performed really, really well. Since we are in the inlay section, I tried it again on a different file, and I have this bald eagle inlay here. It is a little bit too thin, the line. This design was meant to be cut big, make like a wall art. And I had to shrink it a lot to fit it on this piece of wood, so the lines became quite thin. But as you can see, did a really good job, and we created a nice inlay. Then I had some of this scratch paper that, you know, if you have little kids, you know, they just scratch it and make design on it and color, you know, draw on it. So I decided to engrave a photo of my daughters here. And my first try, the power settings were way too high, and it ended up too blown out. But just to give you an idea, the kind of materials you can use on it. Then I tried it again, if I can find it. There it is. And this time the power was too low and the image is too dark, but we do have a lot more detail in there. Then I tried to engrave some leather patches, which I did. You can see the clip on the screen, but I don't know what I did with it. I completely lost it. It's somewhere in the shop. I do not have the leather patch to show you. So then, because I didn't have the leather patch to show you, I took one of these notebooks that have a leather cover, and I put my logo on it, and you can see that on the screen, the engraving. It did a beautiful job. I really like these notebooks because they are blue, but the engraving, it's silver. And as you can see, very crisp engraving. And this is my notebook where I write all my settings for the lasers that I test. So there you go. Then I also put the logo on one of these wooden coasters. This, I'm not sure what kind of wood this is, but they're very, very inexpensive. They don't engrave very nicely, not because of this laser. In general, any lasers, the wood itself is just not good quality. Then I switched to the infrared laser and marked some stainless steel. I put my brand on this stainless steel card. I think it's upside down. So there, this is hard to show because it is very reflective. And I think my settings were a little bit too low there. So then I increased the settings and did a different design. I got it a lot darker, but I did go 2 passes on this one. So yes, you can mark metal. And then I did on one of this aluminum coated business cards, I did a picture of my daughter. Lots of details. The infrared laser has a lot smaller spots, so you can get a lot of details. Now, this aluminum coated business cards, you could mark them with the diode laser as well, but because the infrared's point is so much smaller, it's better for this kind of stuff if you want to engrave photos. Another thing that the infrared laser it's great for is marking on plastic, and I have an example right here. So a really, really nice marking on plastic. Infrared laser is going to be great for plastic and metal. It will not mark wood. For the wood, leather coasters like stone coasters and whatever, you would use the diode laser. One other thing I engraved is some slate coasters. This was not the best design. It's a design that I just purchased from Etsy, but the engraving is really nice. The design is not the best, and this is what it looks on a slate coaster. Now I want to share with you the kind of things that I make with a laser. I wanted to show you what is possible to do with a laser. The first thing I use my laser for is to put my mark on the back of every single item that I make. So when I make something, I put my mark, my logo on the back, and that is like a business card that people can never throw away. So for example, if you purchase this cheese slicer and then 10 years from now someone comes to your house and say, oh, I really like that, where did you buy it? And you don't remember, well, guess what? My logo is right there for you to see, and that's how you gain more customers. So that is one thing I use my laser for. Now, remember I told you my favorite thing to do with a laser is inlays. I'm going to show you two keepsake boxes here that I made inlays. This is a box, and this is the inlay I did. So basically what I did is I deep engraved this design on the lid of the box, and then I just filled it with epoxy, blue epoxy in this case. So this is what I use my laser for, to do some fine woodworking. So just because when you think of laser boxes, you don't have to imagine just those cheap, 3mm plywood that snaps together like Legos. You can actually do some really nice stuff, something like that. Now here is another inlay box that I have, and this one is rosewood and curly maple. And this time the inlay is made with wood. This is rosewood. So that is the kind of stuff that I like to make. Another thing that I love making with my laser is cut tiny, tiny pieces that would not be safe to cut with anything else in my shop. And to give you an example, I have this walnut box over here. And if we look at the lid, it looks 3D. You see all that design in there? Those are all just cut a perfect triangle. Yeah, every single one of those pieces is just the same triangle that I cut, and then I glued onto this piece of walnut, and now we have this really nice design that gives us this 3D illusion. And those were cut with the laser. Now imagine something like that made big as a wall decor. You can cut these triangles at a lot bigger size and glue them to a substrate like MDF. And then you can build a frame around it so you don't see the edges of the MDF. And you can have some really nice wall decor that looks 3D, just like that. Here is another inlay. So this is a curly maple and a walnut box, and the lid has this honeycomb inlay. Same thing, I just engraved deeply this pattern, and then I cut it and glued it in, and it made for a very unique box that if I didn't have that inlay would just look boring and plain. Here is a box that a lot of people get amazed by when I take it to craft fairs, and this is this walnut box over here. And the lid of this box has this tiny, tiny diamonds that when I glue them together, those are 3 different pieces of wood. They are, I think they are maple, walnut, and a red cedar. And I glue them so they look like 3D cubes. And those pieces, they're just 1/8 inch wood that I cut with my laser and glue them to a substrate. And it gives us such an interesting, cool design. I do have a lot of these files. If you want to try this kind of patterns and stuff, I do have them on my website at www.skylarewing.store. So check them out. Really, really cool design to make. Now here is another box that used to be a great seller at Christmas time. I had a few of these guys and they're all sold. This is the only one that I have left. And this is an engraving of a reindeer. This is done with a 20-watt diode laser, just like this one, and makes for a really unique gift or items to sell. Now I have one more box to show you here, and although none of these pieces are cut directly with the laser, this box is made with the help of templates, and the templates I am cutting on my laser. I made templates for every single piece of this box, and then it just makes it super easy to cut and put together in no time. So you can make templates, so you can make other projects a lot quicker and a lot easier. Now, before we plug in the machine and do the live demonstration, let me take you a little bit around the machine and tell you about. So here is the machine, and the lid opens. It has this handy handle. This is the way you open it. On the bottom of the machine, you have your honeycomb grid that comes with it, which I'm very, very glad it does, because I really do not like when lasers have those slots. Honeycomb grid works so much better to not get charring on the bottom. The laser head over here, as you can see on it, it says it's 20-watt diode laser and 1.2 infrared laser. And this is all built in the same laser unit. And that pretty much means you're getting a 3-in-1 laser. You can use this machine in just diode laser mode, you can use it just in the infrared mode, or you can use it mixed. And when I say mixed, then what I mean by it is, let's imagine you're using it on black acrylic and you want to make a Christmas ornament. So you can engrave it with the infrared laser because it has it does more defined engraving because it has a smaller focus point. So then you can engrave it with your infrared laser, but then you can cut it with your diode laser on a different layer. So you don't have to change the laser head on the machine like you would with an X-Tool machine. This is all in there and it's always available to you. I will show you how to change it between the lasers in a second. Now this laser, as you can see, it's made from a very durable all metal casing. There's no plastic here other than, you see the plastic cover here so you can see inside and keep an eye on your project. But the rest of the case, it's all made from metal, very durable, very solid build machine. Now this machine, it's also a class 1 safety laser machine, which is the highest class you can get into when it comes to safety and lasers. That means when the lid is closed and you're using this machine, you do not have to wear safety glasses. It is safe for people walking around your shop. You can work with it in a school classroom environment. And you can take it to craft shows. Class 1 certification means it's the safest laser. Now the working area of this machine, it's about 500 millimeter by 320 millimeter. And in inches, that is, let me look on my paper really quick, it's about 19.6 by 12 and a half, 19.6 by 12 and a half inches. So really big working area, really nice bed size. I find that very, very useful. Now, as I showed you in the beginning of the video, it does have a built-in camera. It's a 5 megapixel camera. It is a very accurate camera within 0.5 millimeter error when you're framing. This laser also has what they call power loss recovery. That means if you're in the middle of a large project or a large engraving and the power goes off, the machine will stop. But as the power comes back on, it will continue for where it left off. So the project, it is not ruined. As safety issues, well, first of all, let me make it clear, you should never leave your laser unattended in the shop. Fires have started before because of lasers. It doesn't matter how safe it is, you should always watch it. Now this laser does have flame detection, and also it will stop if the lid is open. So if your laser is going for a longer engraving and your child comes in the shop and opens the lid because he wants to see what's that flashing light inside, the laser would automatically stop. so nobody gets hurt. Now, when it comes to the included accessories that you get with this laser, you do get the honeycomb grid, so that is included with your laser when you purchase it. Now, you also get this air assist system, and this air assist is so different than any other air assist I've ever seen. This one features an active fire extinguisher system. It has a built-in water pump, so you remove this knob over here and you can fill this with water. This is your level of your water. And then if the laser detects fire, it will put out the fire using the water from the air assist. So very, very cool, and just shows you that AtomStack takes their safety very, very seriously. Additional accessories for purchase are the riser base, the conveyor belt, the smoke purifier, and the rotary attachments. Now, I apologize if the video is shaky here. I just want to show you around the machine, so I'm holding the phone that I'm recording with by hand. On the side here, you have all the ports very well labeled, so you know what to put where. By the way, this USB key, you need to have that plugged in, otherwise the machine does not work, so you have to put that in. A lot of the times when I review lasers, I forget to put the key in, and then I'm like, why is that not working? So there you go, those are all the ports to plug in. They're well marked. Then here is the front, that's the lid. There's the laser, there's the honeycomb grid. There is no loose cables around, like everything is just tucked out nicely. I don't know if you can see here, let me see if I can get you really down. You see, now, I don't know if you can see here, right there where my finger is, that is the focusing bit. And what happens when you're doing the autofocus, that plastic bit there comes down onto your material and measure the focus. So there has a little probe, I guess that's what it's called. So that's how the machine, it focuses. Then in the front here, you do have a button that you can switch from a blue diode laser to infrared and back. You have an autofocus button, and you have the alarm that will turn red if something is not right with the machine. Then you have your on and off button. You get some warnings. Then the back of the machine, nothing really there. And then you have the hose that you will, exhaust your fumes out the window or whatever your method is. And then there is the air assist. Now, AtomStack sent me not only the laser, but they also sent me the conveyor belt and their riser and the smoke purifier. And the smoke purifier, I have not opened it yet, so we're going to open it together and set it up with this machine, because usually I do all my laser engraving in my finishing room, which is very small, and I have inline fan there. That's how I exhaust my fumes. But I can't film in there because it's very, very crowded, so we'll have to set up the smoke purifier here to test it. So that's what we'll do now. Now, like I said, I've never opened this yet. I have no idea what it looks like, but I have used some smoke purifiers in the past, so I'm pretty confident we can figure it out quickly. All right, we got instructions. Hopefully we don't need those. And let's see. We have the hose. We have, all right, a coupling of some sort, the power cord. All right. And then, let's see. Let's get out the purifier. It has some nice handles, so it makes it really easy. It has wheels. You can wheel it around, very nice. And then on the bottom of the packaging, let's see, we have some filters. I'm gonna try to put this together without looking at the instructions. Let me lower it down so we can so you can see what I see. Right. As you can see, it rolls really nice, has wheels. It has a lid that has some latches. Let's open it up. Take out the lid. Here is our top filter. And then under that we have our medium filter. I do not know what they're made of and how they work, so don't ask me that because I do not know. But I do know this kind of smoke purifiers actually work really well. And then here is our bottom filter. This is the one that has the charcoal. This is the one that does the heavy duty lifting of the smoke. So, and the bottom, let me show you here. That's where the air goes out through that fan. On the back here, we have the power button, the on and off button, and the power cord plug-in. The exhaust, it's over there. And then we have on and off button, the flow, how powerful we want it, plus and minus, and time set, so you can have it on a timer. Great. Let's put these filters back in. First goes the giant filter, just like that. Then goes the medium filter, like that. And then we have this top filter. And I guess in this bag we have an extra top filter. This is the ones that you will need to replace as they get filthy. So that is just an extra one. Very nice touch. I'll put this lid back on, secure it. Then we have these fittings that looks like it's maybe just friction fit in here. Pretty tight. Here we have the silver hose. We need to get one of this. I need to get a screwdriver. I'll be right back. So now we take our hose with one of these clamps, put it on the hose, snake it here, and then we tighten this with a screwdriver. And then the other side of the hose connects, of course, to the machine. So I am going to do that right now. And then we'll turn on the machine. We'll check it all out. Now here is my air purifier and I did plug it in. Let's turn it on. I hear some beeps. Let's push the on button. And immediately goes. All right, so I turn off the air purifier because it's going to be loud. And I'm going to connect the computer to my machine right now, or the machine to the computer. And then we'll do a project or two, and we'll show you how it works. Now, before we start using the machine and I show you exactly how it works, I did connect the laser to my computer. I connected to Lightburn. Lightburn is my preferred program when it comes to using lasers. It's the best program there is out there. But AtomStack does have their own software as well, which is a lot more simplified and easier to use if you're a beginner. However, for myself, I prefer Lightburn, so that's what I'm going to use this laser in. And that for me is a very, very huge pro for this laser, the fact that it works on Lightburn. Now, when the machine is on, let me show you here. I hope you're able to see. The alarm, it's green, that means the laser is ready to go, and we have the blue diode laser light on, that means we're using the diode laser. If we wanted to use the infrared, simply we push this button and now we're using the infrared. That's simple. Back to diode laser. Well, now it's both of them, and then back to diode. So you see how easy it is to cycle through the lasers, and you can do that in the software as well. I will show you how to do that in a little bit. Now, as we start working with this laser, it's going to get quite loud in here because we will have the air assist going, and also we'll have the fume extractor going. So I will try to speak louder. Hopefully you can hear me over this background noise, but there's no other way for me to show you how this works. if I don't have them on. So I am going to do some screen recording so you can see on the screen exactly what I'm doing on my computer, and you will be able to see me what I'm doing with the laser as well. All right, so for our little project, we will engrave a coaster. So I have these coasters, they're just made from cork, and I like to buy these guys because they're cheap and I can engrave them with my logo on it. And then when someone purchases something from my website, I can throw one of these as a gift and everybody appreciates it, and it's just a nice thing to do. So I am going to open the machine. As you see, the moment, let me bring you in closer. You see we have the alarm light on. It's red. When I close it, it's green. When I open it, it turns red. So I'll take my cork coaster and I will put it right there in the middle of the machine. And then I will show you there's two ways to focus on this. And I am going to bring the laser head over the coaster. And remember, I showed you that little probe that is in there. I want to make sure that the coaster is under the probe. And then I'll take you to the computer. I'm going to let you watch the laser when I work on the computer. And on the computer, you want to go into console. And then you have this button here that says focus. So you want to press that button and the laser will go up and down and measure the focus for you. All automatic. So there you go, focus is complete, and we did it all from the software on the computer. Another way to adjust the focus, to do the automatic focus, is with this autofocus button. And I find this one to be a lot more accurate. Sometimes when I do it from Liburn, I don't know if it's because this laser, it's very new, but Liburn sometimes does an error and it doesn't take focus properly. But if I push this button here that says autofocus, you will see the laser does the same thing. It goes up and down and measures its focus, and that usually gives me a very accurate focus. So I prefer to use the machine button because that seems to work every single time. Now, back in our software, I will go into, first I will home the laser because I want to get it out of the way from my camera view. Then I will go to the camera control and I will click on Update Overview. So there you go. Now on the screen, we are seeing exactly our coaster. And let me move this design out of the way into layers. I will put it so it doesn't engrave. And I'll move this larger design, put it on the coaster. You see the camera makes it really easy. You can zoom into, you can click on this square over here and it's really zoomed in. And you can position your design in relation to your coaster. So let's go with that. We'll zoom out a little bit. And for settings for this cork coaster, I will be using, well, we'll do a fill, and I'll be using speed 200 at power 100. So we can see it here in the camera. We already did the focus. We are ready to engrave. Now it's going to get loud. Like I said, I will turn on my air pump and the smoke purifier, and then I hope you'll be able to hear me, but as the laser is engraving this coaster, I will be opening the lid to show you that this machine does stop indeed halfway through for safety, and then when I will close the lid, it will continue exactly from where it was at. And oh, one more thing. When you hear me speak about speed 200 and power 100, just so you know, some other people might do reviews and they might say speed into the thousands. That is because if you go to Liburn preferences, I have mine set on inches per minute. A lot of people prefer millimeter per minute. I work with inches per minute, and that's my preferred method. So now that we have it all set up, let's start the engraving. Let me turn on the air assist and the smoke purifier. And we will press start. And here's the laser. Now, as you can see, we already did a good chunk of the engraving, and if I open the lid, the laser stops, and as I close it, the laser will continue from where it was left. And just like that, our engraving is done. Here is our really, really nice engraving. For our next demonstration, I'll be using one of these leather patches, and I'm just going to put it there and move the laser with the focusing pin over it. Press the autofocus button, let it take focus. All right. And now in the software, let's see, I will change it to the smaller design. Let's go to the camera control and update the overlay. And oh, I forgot to show you guys, here in the console you can change to blue diode laser, or you can have the infrared or the infrared and diode all together. You can set the focus. Let's go back to our camera control. And update the overlay. I need to send the laser home because it's blocking my view. Now we can update the overlay. Here is our patch, and I am going to place my smaller design on it. Let's zoom in a little bit. So I am going to place it right over there, and then in the settings I will turn it on, and I will engraving a speed 150, power 30. So that's what we will go with. So let's start this. I turned off the laser and the smoke purifier just so you can hear me. But here is our engraving, really crisp, very, very good quality engraving. No charring at all. There is zero cleanup to do on this leatherette. And usually when you work with leather, you get lots of charring that you have to clean, and this one got none of that. Now again, here is our two projects that we just did. This is the cork coaster, very, very nice engraving. You saw how easy it was to frame because we do have the camera and it's very accurate. And here is the leatherette, very, very nice. I could not be happier. Now, if you're new to this channel and this is your first time watching one of my videos, my name is Skylar Ewing. I am a woodworker and YouTuber, and I reviewed, over the last year and a half, I reviewed over 20 lasers. I reviewed UV lasers, fiber lasers, infrared lasers, diode lasers, CO2 lasers, you name it. Most of the big brands out there, I worked with them and reviewed their lasers. And Every time I do review a laser, in the comments, I always get asked the same question. Usually it's something like, which one between these two lasers would you buy? Or is this laser better than that laser? And it's a very hard one to answer because all the lasers I review on my channel, they're really good lasers. Now, usually when a company reaches out to me and asks me to review a laser, I have a few questions for them. Like I ask them if it's an open frame laser because I don't like to review those. I ask them if the laser works in Lightburn, because if it doesn't work in Lightburn and I have to use their own software, then I usually charge them a pretty hefty fee because I have to download new software, learn new software, and all of that takes time, which is something I don't have. And then another thing I talk to them about, I always tell them if the laser shows up and it doesn't work properly or it's not good, I'm just not going to make the review. And I prefer to not say anything negative about the laser, I just would not make the review. And over the last year and a half, I had 2 lasers that I sent back and I have not reviewed. If you're a long-time viewer of my channel, then you've probably seen those lasers into my community tab when I posted the photo and said, hey, look, I got this laser, I'm gonna review it soon, and then the review never showed up. So all the lasers are really, really good lasers these days. Some are better than others. And I'm gonna do something that I've never done before. Today, I'm going to actually compare this laser to other lasers that I've reviewed. Now, that will not mean that those other lasers are not good lasers. They're all good lasers. But we all have our preferences. And this AtomStack Kraft laser, I can tell you from build quality and the way it works a lot better than all the Creality lasers I tried, all the longer lasers I tried, all the We Create lasers I tried and reviews. And it's just solid laser all around. It does a really good job at engraving and cutting, which some lasers, like the Creality ones, are more geared towards cutting. It doesn't do that great of a job on engraving. And this one does really great job at both. What it reminds me of, it reminds me a lot of the Xtool S1. That laser, if you guys have been following me for a while, you know, was my favorite laser for over a year. I used it as my primary laser in the shop until I got a CO2 laser. And now I'm using CO2 lasers, but I loved that laser. And this reminds me a lot of that. I would say this one, it's better than that because of 3 factors. One factor is the fact that it works in Lightburn. X2 lasers don't work so great in Lightburn. This one has a camera. Xtool S1 does not have a camera. And then another really cool thing I like about this one, because it does work in Lightburn, you can work with thicker materials and you can raise the laser head upwards, which the Xtool S1, when I engrave materials that are 3/4 inch or thicker, I have to remove my honeycomb grid out, otherwise the laser will just bump into my material. And it doesn't seem, at least I don't know how to get the laser head to go higher. But this one, you can go into Lightburn, into the move tool, and you have the arrows there where you can move the laser head left, right, up, and down. And also you can move it upwards and downwards to lower it into the surface or raise it up. So if you're working with thicker material, you can do so. So because of that, I think it's fantastic. I really, really love it. If this was a CO2 laser, I would have kept it for myself to work with it every day in my shop. I don't use diode lasers anymore, but it is a fantastic laser. And if you're in the market for a diode laser, I truly, truly recommend this. It is great, great laser. Now, before we get to the unboxing and setting up of the machine, I do want to show you the riser base and the conveyor belt. I am not going to test those because those are used, the conveyor belt, it's used to increase the size of your workspace so you can make really, really large signs, for example. And I just do not have the space in the shop to show you such a thing and use that conveyor belt. I didn't know they were going to send me the conveyor belt when they sent me the laser. I would have told them, please don't, because I do not have the space to do such a thing. Also, I do not have an engraving business. I do not make signs, so I probably never use it. But I did put it together, and I will show you to you, and I will explain to you how it works. To use the conveyor belt, you do have to use the riser base with it. You cannot use the conveyor belt without the riser base. And the same thing for the rotary tool, you will need the riser base as well. So let me go grab it and I will show you what they look like. So I brought in the riser base. They're right here on the floor. I'll show them a little bit closer to you in a second. And before I show them to you, let me show you in the manual so you understand exactly how this works. So you will use the riser base. As you can see it here, these two panels are magnetic, so you just take those out. And then once you take those out, you place this conveyor right onto the riser base. And then the machine goes on top. Let me see, where is the picture for that? So as you can see, the machine goes on top of the riser. So you have the riser, you put the conveyor belt on top of it, and then the machine goes, it has feet, so the feet will fit into the holes, into the riser base, and it sits on top. You do have to remove the base plate of your machine. Otherwise, the laser cannot go through the base plate to the conveyor belt. So you have to remove that in order to make it work. I apologize for the way I'm showing you this, but I really don't have the space for this. So here's the riser base. Like I said, the sides, they are just magnetic, so really easy to put on and off, both of them. And then you have notches here. That's where the conveyor belt will sit on it. And as you can see, the conveyor belt, it is quite large, so you will need some space to be able to use this. But I guess if you're making giant signs, you will need a space anyway for that. And it travels quite a lot, so you can see you can engrave some really, really big pieces as this thing passes through your laser machine. That is about the amount of travel. So really, really big pieces you can engrave. Now we're gonna move to the part where you can watch me unbox this laser and put it together. And before you do that, let me just tell you, I received this laser a while back. I received it on December 18, 2024. So quite a while back. It was one of the first machines that was produced and sent out for testing. And when it came, it didn't even have a manual. I opened the box and I thought it was just missing, and I contacted them, and it turns out that they have not even written down the manual when they send the machine. So when you see me unboxing, you will see me keep looking for the manual, but wasn't one. Luckily, the machine, you don't need a manual. There was really nothing to put together, as you will see in the video. So I got the machine on December 18, and today it is February 13. So I had this laser now for about 2 months, playing with it, testing it, doing all kinds of work with it. And I can honestly tell you that it's a really extraordinary, really good machine. Now let's start with unboxing. And I've never unboxed an AtomStack laser before, so I really have no idea what to expect. I have 4 big boxes here they have sent me. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know what's in each one of them. I'm assuming the laser is in this big one. So we'll start opening that one. To open my box, I'll be using my beautiful utility knife that was made for me, handmade by one of my subscribers. So it is very sharp. Let's open this laser and see what it looks like. All right, I brought you in a little bit closer, so hopefully you get a better view. Let's see how this is packed and what it looks like. I had this laser in my shop since December, so it's been like over a month, and I've been dying to open it and see what it looks like. Okay. Maybe we need to move a little bit more of an open space. There's not a lot of room for me to move in here, so let me move this stuff. Now I have a little bit more room to, walk around it. And we have a little image here, how to lift it from the box. I'm not sure if I will be able to lift this by myself, or will I have to enlist my husband for this. Very nice packaging. It has all this protection for the corners. All right. Oh, wow. Okay. Let's see how heavy it is. How will I lift this? Okay, well, it does have some handles, some room for you to put your arms underneath it. I don't know if I can lift it or not. It is a little bit awkward because it's large. And I think I'm gonna have to enlist my husband to help me lift this on my bench. All right, laser is on the bench, so I'm going to take the plastic off. We'll open it up. Okay, lid stays up. Let's take this plastic off too. I actually love the fact that they thought about it and they did not put this plastic thingy inside or where they attach the camera and stuff. Because when I did the We Create, I think was laser, everything was stuck in there. So as you rip it, it rips and it leaves a little edge of plastic around. So they thought about this kind of stuff. Okay, a piece of foam. Let me get you in closer. This is a calibration card. We will need this to calibrate the lens. So do not lose that. It looks like an air assist unit, unless I'm wrong, but I think that's what that is. Then we have the, looks like power cable. We will need that. The air assist hose. We have here some focusing stuff, some tools, cable. I'm assuming this is what connects to your computer. Couple of more cables. Oops. A hose. Then this is probably the laser unit. And this is a, all right, so it's a 20 watt diode laser and a 1.2 watt infrared laser all on the same head. Could that be? That's what it says on it there. I have both numbers on it. More foam. Very, very well packed. Lots of foam. I have not seen a manual yet. I'm still removing foams. Okay, there are some zip ties in here that it looks like we need to cut in order to make the gantry move. I'm pretty sure we have to cut those. Let's see if we can find a manual. The rest of the box is here. And what I saw on the bottom of the box, it looks like we have a honeycomb grid, which is my favorite because when lasers come with those slots, I hate those things. You want the honeycomb grid for best results. So we do have this, still no manual yet. Maybe it's in a different box that came with it. This looks like maybe that's all is in here. Yep. I don't see anything else in here. Well, I still can't seem to locate the manual. I did got a pre-release version of this laser. I got this laser in early December. So I'm hoping that when you get it, it has a manual, but I'm just gonna cut those zip ties and see what happens. All right, let's see. One is out. There is the other. And now we can move the gantry and remove this foam. Still no manual. I'll have to contact them, see if they can send me a copy of the manual. But I got out the laser module. This is what it looks like. And I don't see why we should not be able to make this laser work even without a manual. Doesn't look like it's much more to install, really. So let's see if it works. To install the laser module, let me bring you in closer. It looks like it's held in place by these two screws that will go into these slots, and then we have this thumb screw that goes here on the top. Then we have the air assist hose that connects to the air assist over here on the side, and then this connection that will go over here. So even with no manual, we should be able to do something here. All right. Looks like it has two fans here on the back, which is awesome. That means we're gonna get some really good air assist. That means less charring, cleaner cutting. And let's see. Laser is connected there. Air assist will connect it here. So far, so good. Now we have the hose for the air assist. We need to cut this thing off. And now this air assist hose goes onto the left side of the machine, where it looks like we have a lot of ports for all kinds of stuff. So this says air assist over here. Oh, it says air tube. There you go. That's a thing for the air tube. And then here goes air tube over here. Then we have two of these cords, which this one says separate power supply for air assist. So it's good that one had the label since we have no instructions. So let's do that. And there is a plug in here that says air assist. I'm not sure which end goes in there. Let's see. Air assist. This goes in here. And then this one should go in here. Yes, and it fits. Yay. All right, this one, still don't know what it's for yet, but we'll figure it out. And let's see, we need the power cord, and the power goes, let's see. Power, where do you go? the power goes over here where it says power. And then this goes onto this brick. And we'll plug it in. I think we have everything pretty much plugged in. I am going to, let's see, do we have anything more? We have another bag here. We have a few more cords. Some I'm assuming is to connect to the computer. And we have a few things in here, which I'm not sure exactly what they are. This looks like a limit switch. But let's turn it on, see what happens. Now, I hope this was useful to you and you learned something new. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Skylar Ewing, and I'll see you in my next video.